Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fat Jocks, the sports podcast that almost keeps you up to date on sports news. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for tuning in. If you do like the podcast, please go over to Apple Podcasts. Fuck that Spotify bullshit. And give us a 5-star rating. Give us a review. Write everything in there that you love about the show. If you got any grievances with the show or you want to just write in and be like, hey, Bruce is making a lot of sense, the email is fatjockspod@gmail.com. Fatjockspod@gmail.com. Bryan, my big fat friend, what do we talk about today?
This is a big episode for us, and we're already some big motherfuckers, but we add in another big motherfucker named Anthony Tadero. Anthony Tadero is a MMA enthusiast from Atlanta, Georgia. Funny guy, a lot of wisdom. He breaks down the upcoming Saturday night fights, the Israel Adesanya card, and gives me some betting advice. We go into a little bit of football free agency. We talk about J.J. Watt and Alex Smith and their futures. Little spoiler alert, boo to J.J. Watt going to the Cardinals. We talk about Albert Pujols, and we do some comparisons to him and Mike Trout because Albert Pujols' wife let the cat out the bag. Looks like he's retiring. And then I introduced Bruce to one of the largest personalities in all of boxing, Billie Joe Saunders. He's going to be fighting Canelo on Cinco de Mayo, and I couldn't be more amped for that fight. All that and more. Thank you so much. Enjoy the show. God bless America.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business.
This fat son of a bitch. He's fat.
Hey, I'm just here so I don't get fined.
He's fat.
Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
He's fat.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
I couldn't care less about the team struggling.
Went trap shooting yesterday at the damn Vancouver Trap Club, dude. Private one of those member-owned places where dudes go to escape their wife.
Or practice how to escape her forever.
Dude, yeah. Dude, it's funny because it was like me. I mean, there was probably 10, 15 other dudes there, and one of the dudes brought his wife, and you could tell that the other guys were a little bit annoyed about it.
Oh, their sister.
Dude, but yeah, I don't think they liked me very much. I think mainly it was the fact that I was wearing a mask. Dude, not a mask in sight down at the fucking Trap Club. You wouldn't believe it.
Dude, what if you had worn a Guy Fawkes mask? Would that have been chill with them?
Yeah. It was pretty funny, dude. I shot like shit for like the first round, and then this old man, this guy from, I don't know, those places are weird because they all kind of got their own rules a little bit, like how I mean, it makes sense. You're fucking around with guns, but it's like just treating me like I was being very irresponsible when I was like just doing the shit I normally would do of just like, they're like pissed at me and they want me to only load one and they want me to wait to load until I'm about to shoot. And then they would get like, look at me kind of annoyed if it took me too long to load right before I shot. And
I like how you're like, because before you explained yourself and you said they were annoyed because I was just doing me, baby. And it's like, what? Like you're just fucking
I'm down there, dude. I was spinning the shotgun on my finger like it was a globetrotter. There was a little kid. I had to put his finger out, and he started spinning. The gun spun on his finger. I mean, they were after the first round. Whenever I shot like shit. That first round, I fucking missed like 17 out of 24, and then the second round, I only missed like I think it was 24. I only missed like I don't think I only missed like 6 or 7 on that second round. So.
Were they a little nicer to you once you started shooting, right?
Dude, literally before the second round, this old man, they were all fine. They were just kind of annoyed at me for a while. This old man was like, hey, he's like, I'll watch you from back here. And dude, so you stand 5 in a line, you know? And then whenever the line was full, there would be a dude who would stand off to the side, and anybody who missed, he would just immediately smoke their fucking clay.
Whoa.
Like, so cool. You would like, if you missed, because you're only allowed to shoot one time. So you would shoot the one time. And if you missed, he was there not even a quarter of a second later to fucking smoke it.
What a great job.
Dude, I mean, didn't work there. He was just a dude who didn't get up to the line in time. So it was like 2 different dudes who did it, who would just like, were waiting their turn. It's kind of a pretty sick way to shoot for free.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And nobody gets annoyed by that.
I mean, I think if I was doing it and missing on the second shot, they probably would be annoyed. But these dudes were smoking it every single time. These guys out there are fucking good. Like,
what were you shooting? That gun we shot?
Yeah, my 12 gauge.
Yeah.
But that's a semi-auto, but they only want you to shoot once. Remember, whenever I like going somewhere where you can throw it yourself rather than a guy throwing it for you or your buddy throwing it for you is what I like. So a lot of pressure. Oh! Yeah. Oh, dude, it was fucking great, man. I had a great time. I mean, I don't know if you can see on camera at all, but my shit is like fucking.
Yeah, dude.
Purple today, dude. And it's like that red today. It's gonna be purple, but
I think
I was just tensed up the whole time, so I'm just like fucking all over sore.
I went shooting with some pals, and I put it on Instagram. You probably saw the video. This fat redneck made me do the double barrel both at once, and he had like fucking tobacco stained teeth. He was like easy 400 pounds, and that's probably after big shit. And he was just sitting there dipping. I don't think I saw him shoot that day. I think he just goes and hangs out with people who shoot. And he's like, pull them both at the same time. And then and he was a dick to me until I did that. And then I did that, and it fucking blasted me so hard. I pulled both barrels at once. I had a nasty bruise on my shoulder. And then after that, he was like, hell yeah, man. And he sat down. He's like, you want some dip? And I was like, no thank you.
He gives you one of his re-dips.
He pulls it out of his fucking mouth.
Yeah.
Here you go.
See, dude, I usually I'll get a nice shoulder bruise, but I'm sore all over just from like, I think the tenseness not being loose enough whenever I'm fucking pulling across and shit. But
yeah, dude, you're getting fun, dude. Now where you pull a muscle tracing.
Yeah, dude. I was tracing all day, dude. But hey, let's get into some sports, dude. How about that? Some real sports. JJ Watt signed with the Arizona Cardinals today. What the fuck? Dude, I saw DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins had tweeted him and was like, we got unfinished business, like a plea to come to Arizona. And I was like, shut the fuck up, DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, right.
What, your business is you never went 0-16?
Dude, it was yeah.
I went on Pro Football Reference and I looked at sponsor of the show, footballreference.com. Thank you for all your Pro Football Reference needs. And I went on the website and I looked at Kyler Murray's stats from week 8 to 16 and week 1 to 7 last year, whatever, 8 to 17. And man, dude, it's over for him. Like, I don't think he's going to have that great of a season next year. I think he's really declined. I think people have figured him out. I think that with Budda Baker, JJ Watt, Chandler Jones, there's a decent defense there, and DeAndre Watt.
Oh yeah. I mean, dude, most sacks since 2012, 1 and 2 is Chandler Jones and JJ Watt, 97 and 95.
Yeah. But I think they're going to end up looking like the Bears with Mitch Trubisky, where it's like, maybe you eke in a wild card spot, but nobody really takes you seriously. I don't know. Maybe
man. This is interesting. Interesting.
Why would you not? You're 31 years old. You're on the downside. Although I did read on that he, out of all defensive ends, he was 15th in pass rush success. So getting off his defender. He was 15th. So.
Okay, he gets off the defender, dude.
Nasty.
Yeah, what does this mean for Russell Wilson though, dude? Russell Wilson, now he's in that NFC, or what is it, NFC West?
That's the NFC West right there. And now that's the last thing Russ needed is another historically great pass rusher in his division after he's already the most sacked quarterback since he entered the league. And that is kind of his fucking big issue for this offseason. He's like, either get me an offensive line or get me the fuck out of here. Yeah,
you said now the NFC West is full of Matt Stafford, Russell Wilson. Who else did you say? Just a bunch of getting sacked ass motherfuckers.
Yeah, I texted Bruce that with Matt Stafford and then who is the and Jimmy Garoppolo and Russell Wilson. I mean, that is a feasting division for JJ Watt, especially if Chandler Jones has a few more years of prime left. So I figure he'll eat up a lot of the double teams, and JJ will be getting a way more single coverage than he normally is used to. So he might have a semi-renaissance season next year, but dude, he's going to eat Russell Wilson alive if they don't get anybody.
Yeah. I mean, I think that if JJ wears less protective gear, he'd have less handle for people to get on him. Basically, he
Yeah,
basically just has a bunch of handles for people to grab onto.
Yeah, fucking RoboCop, dude.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, there's not too much to say on that other than what a dummy. Why wouldn't you go to fucking Tampa Bay? Why wouldn't you go to the Buccaneers? Why wouldn't you go to fucking anywhere else?
Is Larry Fitzgerald going to come back, do you think?
I don't even know, man. He hasn't announced retirement, but he might.
What's that going to mean to him? Like, oh, we got JJ Watt. Great. Okay. What is that? You know, I don't know why that would be a big selling point.
Yeah. Are they're not lined up to contend in any way, really, are they?
Not really. I mean, they went 8-8 last year, and you know they've
think so.
They went 8-8, and I guess all they've really added is JJ. They're not 8-8's not going to give you like a crazy draft pick either. So
no, I don't know, man.
It's a bummer move. It's just like when people go to certain places, you're like, why there? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
that's what I always think about is like these players that, especially in baseball, these like teams that have been losing forever, where it's like you kind of just go in every day and lose. That sucks.
That's gonna suck. Even baseball, way worse. Well, no, probably not. I imagine football because you're literally giving your life to it in a way that is just like irreversible damage being done to you. Like Matt Stafford, dude, the way he must feel in the morning, all because he was a lion. Whew. Brutal. Dude. So
I mean, speaking of being in pain in the morning, Alex Smith is apparently going to be released like any second.
Now, whenever I hear Pat McAfee talk about Alex Smith, he says he has a hamstring for a shin, and he says
hamstring for a shin. I was going to bring that up also.
What does that mean? How does
I think that the surgery they did was probably similar to what they do in Tommy John surgery. Do you know how they do Tommy John surgery?
They take a ligament from somewhere else and put it into.
They take a ligament either from your leg or from your other arm, put that in your other arm, and basically replace it. So I imagine they did something like that with Alex Smith's leg. They took it from his upper leg to his lower leg, I guess. I don't know.
So they took his hamstring out and then just put it on his shin and then put a fake hamstring where his old.
I really am so uneducated on it, but I think so. I think that's what the surgery entailed.
It's funny that we're uneducated on it, but it does seem like it probably is as barbaric as I just described.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably not very good at all. I mean, anytime you see a video of surgery, it's fucking not like there's all kinds of videos of people getting fake tits put in, and it's like, dude, they basically cut your tits off, put the tit in, then seal your tit back around it.
I like how you said every time you watch a tit video, like you're watching.
Dude, I mean, if you're on like TikTok and shit, they're all over TikTok for some reason. Or people getting their tits cut off and then reattached.
Like, what do they do when they're off?
Party, throw them around the room. No, they like cut the bottom part right here, and then they like peel it back, and then they shove the thing in, and then they like pump a bunch of shit into it. It does not look fun.
Okay, well, Alex Smith, would you, if you were running a franchise, would you want to play Alex Smith? I mean, with his total recall leg? No, like it's a beautiful story, and the guy's got a lot of motivation, a lot of drive. But I mean, listen, you want to put a guy
hang it up, dude.
Yeah, he's got. I mean, you're talking about running. You know, no matter what team he's a quarterback for, that's a multi-billion-dollar operation, and you've got to have all the parts. You know,
and if the Washington football team doesn't see it as worth the risk, who else is going to?
They love risk.
Dude, they're just.
They the Redskins until last year. They don't give a shit about risk.
Dude, they're not even going to have a new name till like 2023. They said.
What is taking so long to name the team?
I don't, dude. It's so dumb. But this is kind of my next question: is what are they doing next? They have the 19th pick in the first round this year. Do they trade up, or do they trade for a QB? Or the third option, my favorite option, is it fucking Heineke time, dude?
It's got to be Heineke time. I don't see any.
Remember, as soon as Heineke crushed it, I was like, dude, Heineke's going to be a starter somewhere next year just from that game. And you said there's no fucking way, and it's about to pop off. Another option. Are you familiar with Kyle Allen at all? Kyle Allen was looking good.
Kyle Allen was a Panther. He came over with Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera snatched him. Yeah, he played.
Kyle Allen. That's his name. Yeah, dude. last year he was 60 for 87, 69% completion rate, 7 touchdowns. I'm sorry. 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, 99.3 passer rating. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, it's pretty solid, but that's only, I mean, if it's 89 attempts or whatever you said, that's roughly around 3 games at most. So that's not a big.
Yeah, and he also averages 7 yards a pass, which isn't it's a lot of
Remember, he
checkdowns.
backed up Cam Newton a few years ago and went on a 6-0 run as a starter. And then, like, as all backups do, the house eventually won, and then he started getting even. He's a backup. He's not a starter. We've seen enough of Kyle Allen when he was a Panther to know that he's just a solid backup. So he's not going to be, we don't know that about Taylor Heineke. So possibly.
I think that Taylor Heineke's a starter just because I think he's a psycho, dude. I think Taylor Heineke has been through the gamut of football enough and has like gone down and came up and gone to the XFL and done all that I think he's ready to make an opportunity fucking work out.
Yeah, he could be like, I don't know if you were old enough to remember when Doug Flutie was a Buffalo Bill in the late 90s, early 2000s, after Flutie was in college in 84. So he had gone up, was a Patriot, went to the college Canadian Football League, backups, USFL, CFL, NFL, and then he finally gets a job with the Bills, and he makes like 2 Pro Bowls in a row in his like mid 30s. And it was the same kind of play as Taylor Heineke. It was like, I don't give a shit about my body. I'm going to run. I'm going to dive for every first down, no matter how inconsequential his first down is. So potentially you could see that. But the thing is, what's going to happen is he's going to get his fucking block knocked off. He'll probably have like 4 good games and then just get, slaughtered.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's I don't think Alex Smith is the guy, and I don't know that Taylor Heineke is the guy. I'd like to see Heineke get a shot just because of how much he put his nuts on the table in that game, but who knows, man.
Alex Smith goes to the Lions.
Yeah, I mean, Alex Smith, he's a backup. He's a veteran presence. He's good for a lot of different teams. Maybe even Arizona, he's a good backup. Just adding another veteran in that locker room. Why not?
Yeah, I think he would be good behind Goff. I think it's a similar, he's not, Alex Smith used to be very mobile. He clearly is not nearly as mobile as he used to be.
Yeah, I mean,
he's a wizard. He's
got a peg leg.
Yeah. It's got a parrot on his shoulder pads.
I mean, I could see Smith going a lot of different places.
Right? If he's a peg leg, he should go to the Raiders.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's anywhere will work as a backup, but he's not a starter, dude. He's just not. I'm going to I got just a little bit of baseball stuff here, just quickly, only because we love Zach Greinke. Zach Greinke was asked about career milestones this week, and he said that the only career milestone he pays attention to is 10 home runs and 10 stolen bases. He said, but then I got traded to the American League, and it makes it a lot harder. So funny, dude. And then Albert Pujols apparently is going to retire after this year. His wife said on Twitter, today is the first day of the last season in one of the most remarkable careers in sports, which then she since has deleted. And Pujols says he doesn't know when he's going to retire. It's just the last year of his big contract with the Angels.
Wow. He's like, bitch.
Dude, well, I was telling you that. I was like, we got to do a deep dive on people's wives who have fucked him over on social media, athletes, dude. Because there's a long list of them. I'll prep that for next week.
Number one being Ray Rice's wife.
Oh, yeah, come on. Yeah, if she just knew now. Just some I saw this graphic here. Maybe I'll send this over to you to put on the screen. Just a career comparison of Mike Trout and Albert Pujols. So this is a 10-year comparison of their first 10 years in their career. So Albert Pujols 2001 to 2011, Mike Trout 2011 to 2020. So average in those first 10 years of their career, Albert Pujols is at 328 for that time. Mike Trout at 304. Albert Pujols 445 home runs. Mike Trout, 302. Albert Pujols, 1,329 RBIs. Mike Trout, 798. And, OPS nobody really gives a shit about OPS or WAR, but Albert Pujols at 86 career WAR and Mike Trout at 74.6 career WAR.
So that's wild because it's like the general consensus amongst baseball media is that Mike Trout is potentially the best baseball player who's ever played baseball in history for his first 10 years. But then you look
that's the five toolness of the whole thing. Albert Pujols isn't really a five tool player because his defense has always been just okay.
Has he always been in right field, or was he ever a first baseman?
Pujols?
Yeah.
He's in first base now. He's an old first baseman now, but he played left field. He played right. He played third base. He's been around a little bit. And it's not like he was bad. He's just not a stellar fielder like Mike Trout is.
Right. Like Mike Trout is one of the best center fielders in all of baseball.
Yeah. But it's like that's why people put him on such a pedestal of like your Derek Jeters and your whoever, because it's a five toolness, however you want to explain that. But this is all hitting stats, not, Mike Trout's an unbelievable fielder too.
And Pujols also his 3 World Series appearances at least, and with 2 wins.
I think he's won twice. I believe they both are 3-time MVP award winners, which is why the RBIs thing makes more sense because Pujols had more people around him the entire time.
Yeah, and there was a time back then when Pujols' prime where it was either the Giants or the Cardinals representing the NL every fucking year. It was Giants, Cardinals, Giants, Cardinals, Giants, Cardinals. Every now and then a rock.
I think the Cardinals are on their way back up, dude. The Cardinals are. I was just looking at some stuff in spring training. The Cardinals are fucking cool, man. That's my general consensus that the Cardinals are cool. Great jerseys, great tee, great logo.
Yeah. Also, didn't they had a match?
I love a deep red.
What did they get anybody other than Nolan Arenado in free agency?
They re-signed Colton Wong, I'm 99% sure, and then a pitcher. I can't think off the top of my head who it was. But the Cardinals are pretty good, man. Paul Goldschmidt, Colton Wong,
they still have
Arenado, and then somebody else in that infield is really good. They got Jack Flaherty, who's great, and then they got that other guy whose name I can't think of off the top of my head who throws like 109.
Hey, Bruce, look, it's my friend Anthony.
Yeah, hey, here we go.
Hi.
Joining us now, the official Fat Jocks podcast. UFC.
He's our senior MMA correspondent. Senior MMA correspondent, perfect. Anthony Tadero joining us live from
Atlanta, Georgia. And it's just a really good angle. I'm also fat. So
well, everybody knows you wouldn't have made it onto the show if you weren't.
There's a weight minimum, right?
Yeah. yeah. Exact opposite of a fight. You need to make weight for the interview.
Right. I'm not dehydrating myself at all for this.
Yeah, no. You have 9 IVs going into all your main veins.
This is lukewarm coconut oil that I'm drinking.
Okay, so the reason why I wanted to bring Anthony on is, as we know, Bruce is a baseball expert. I am a football/boxing expert. Neither of us really know that much about MMA. And Anthony, I went to high school with Anthony, and Anthony was into MMA then. And
back before they wore gloves.
Kinda, yeah.
Was there a UFC when we were in high school, Anthony? We're 25 now.
Yeah. So UFC 1 was in like 94, something like that.
Were you there?
Yeah, I was there.
See, that's pre-weight class, right?
Yeah. Took like 2 or 3 UFCs before they started, maybe more than that, like 5 UFCs before they started doing weight classes. It was just like like back in like in Japan and in Brazil, they would always do those dojo wars where it was like people from different martial arts fighting each other. And then that's kind of what the UFC looked like.
So was that like, were people like tape trading that stuff? Like they were like the Jesco White tapes?
For sure. It was a Faces of Death analogous for sure.
Damn, that's a Jesco White tape is a heavy pull.
Yeah. I could just tell you
not when 2 of the people are from Georgia. That's just
I know Jesco White also. This is a very good group of people that we all can get a Jesco White reference.
I'll cut it here. So I took the butcher knife and held it up to her neck and said, "You want to live to see tomorrow? You better stop making them sloppy slimy eggs before you make them."
Multiple hardcore bands I listen to use that as an opening track on their on their shitty albums.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so we got.
I put that butcher knife up against her neck. Ju-jum, ju-jum, ju-jum.
You fucking bitch! You fucking my mom!
so hurt. They're so emotional hurt.
Speaking of abuse, let's talk about martial arts.
There we go.
Yeah. So I hit up Anthony and I was like, "What's the next big card? We'll have you on to talk about that." He said March 6th. So we set this up. I didn't realize that Stylebender, who, you know, it's funny is there's very few UFC fighters that get me to the TV, and Israel is one of them. I always watch Israel's fights, but somehow I missed this one. But so we'll start with that fight. What does that one look like? Because I saw he's fighting Jan Polish man.
Yeah. Let him hear you call him Jan.
Yeah, Jan the Polish man.
Yeah. Say his last name now for all of us.
Well, I'll try it actually. Let me look at it.
You can probably get it.
Blachowicz?
Blachowicz.
Nope, not doing it.
Yeah.
I refuse.
And now he's right.
Yeah, Stylebender isn't actually that young, even though he's being looked at as kind of like a wonderkind. He's like 30. He's like 28. Stylebender, so he's not necessarily young, but Blachowicz I think is probably somewhere around mid 30s, like 35.
Oh, I thought he was like in his 40s.
I'll have to look that up for sure, but I don't think he's like old. He could still conceivably be the champ for a minute, especially if he beats Stylebender.
And his last fight, he's coming off a win, right? An upset.
Yes. But every win he's ever had has been an upset. like he's been the underdog in most of his fights. Okay. And he's one of those who's like, I'm trying to look at his record right now. If I were to tell you that like this guy is the champ after telling you his record, you'd be like, what are you talking about? He's 27-8.
27-8, yeah.
Yeah.
And so
he only really started to cook up maybe the past like 4 years. People have been talking about him a lot.
And he's a little beefier than Israel, right?
Yeah, he's 216 versus Israel's 185.
How's that?
Well, so he fights at 205. And the fight is at 205. So Israel Adesanya fights at 185. From what I understand, he doesn't cut that much weight to get to 185. But most 185ers, like if you look at the other guys who fight at 185 in the UFC, against him, it's insane. Like Yoel Romero, if you've seen that guy's body,
yes,
I didn't realize
that Yoel wasn't a heavyweight. I had no idea.
Right, Yoel's middleweight, 185. So he looks real skinny against those guys, anyways. And Blachowicz, I think, dehydrates himself just as much as anybody else to get to 205. So he's going to have a huge weight advantage. And I think that is that if he can kind of lean on him or get inside and take him down, that he has the upper hand. But 100% of the people who have fought Stylebender have had that same strategy, and none of them have won because he doesn't let people get close.
So are you saying that this one you think it's in the bag?
I think so, but this dude could easily knock anybody out. So I think what he would have to do is really make it confusing. He would have to maybe land a takedown early and make Stylebender really respect the shot, and then maybe fake a shot and throw a big overhand and knock him out. That seems to be the.
So he has like a Deontay Wilder puncher's chance type thing going in there.
Yeah, pretty much. But again, that's the stuff everybody said about Adesanya. It's like, well, you got to at least land a big shot or take him down. It's like, yeah, no one's even gotten close.
Right.
Yeah.
What were you gonna?
But he is extensively smaller, and also Blachowicz has Polish suicide rope superpowers. Yeah. So I don't know if you've heard about that story.
No, I've never heard. I know what a suicide rope is. I have one in my bedroom, but
before Blachowicz went on his giant run that he's on now, where he eventually became the champ, he found a man who hung himself in the forest, and the cop who he called told him that it was an ancient Polish superstition that you should touch that rope and it will give you good luck. And so before every fight, So before every fight he's had since then, he goes back to the spot in the forest and touches a suicide rope, and that is true.
Yeah, doesn't Logan Paul do the same thing in Japan?
Yeah.
Isn't that the same thing he was doing that everyone got mad about? What the fuck's up with the double standard?
He just makes a vine with it. He doesn't touch it for good luck.
He just puts his head through the rope and he's like,
Wait, so please tell me they cut the body down and they just left the rope there, or is there just a skeleton?
Yeah. An interviewer asked him if he like brought it home with him, and he's like, "No, that's weird."
No, that's weird.
So,
that part's weird. But me returning to the scene, Jesus Christ.
So that's a rabbit.
So
that's a Polish rabbit's foot.
Yeah, exactly. Polish rabbit's foot. Someone used to kill themselves with. But yeah, that is pretty much the only storyline that I go into it with, thinking that he could win, is just because now he can't lose because of Polish suicide towers.
Okay, well that's more than most people have going into Israel.
Yeah.
The
Polish suicide powers, it's Izzy all the way.
Yeah.
Polish suicide rope sounds like a very cool wrestling move.
Absolutely. That's his finishing move, I believe.
This is a very novice question, but people call Adesanya style bender because kind of he does a little bit of everything, is my guess.
They call him that because he told them to, but
hell yeah.
It's definitely his nickname. That is not a nickname anyone else gave him, but he's a giant weeb. He's like a huge anime fan.
Yeah, he always does like anime dances.
He does some sort of act out, like before he, I want to say it was before he beat Robert Whittaker to become the champion. He did like he mimed opening a book, writing it down, a name in it. And I had to find out later that was like a nod to the anime Death Note, but he does shit like that from a different anime every time.
Damn, dude. I wonder how many Funko Pops he's got in his house. That's like his sneaker closet.
His Funko Pops.
So, Bruce, what were you going to ask about who was hungover? I forget.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So this is what I read today whenever I was kind of researching into this, that it kind of came out on February 28th is where I'm seeing the story from, that Paulo Costa says that he drank too much wine the night before he fought Stylebender and had a hangover. What do you think of that?
Yeah. He's been making Deontay Wilder level excuses this entire time. It's similar shit. He got fucking outclassed, unlike he's undefeated before that, right? And
right.
Have you seen him? He looks insane.
I watched that.
Yeah, apparently he gets something like 13 hours of sleep every day because he trains so hard. He needs that to recover. And he looks
I can relate to that. That's about where at least me and him are on the same sleep schedule.
right. That's totally my excuse too. I got to regrow my quads. It's not that I'm depressed.
Yeah. So it says right here, Paulo Costa says that he was kind of drunk or maybe hungover whenever he fought.
Sure.
Stylebender, which is like, if they would have said that before the fight, been like, hey, one of these guys has a pretty good buzz on and the other guy is sober, I for sure would have been like, the guy who has a good buzz on is going to fuck this other dude up.
Sure, yeah. And I would also guess that the guy who's fucking doing the robot and act outs from Naruto is probably the drunk one and not the other guy.
Yeah. That's a great bar fight, is drunk dude versus anime nerd.
Yeah. But this title fight is basically, there aren't a whole lot of specialists in the UFC anymore. Most people have been training MMA for a long time, whereas like back in the day, it used to be this guy is a world-class kickboxer trying out mixed martial arts. So Adesanya is one of the few like striking specialists that is legitimately leagues beyond anybody else in the stand-up game. So if we're really asking for picks, it's Adesanya. I think he's on an epic rise, and his whole reasoning for going to light heavyweight right now is to literally troll the 205 champ John Jones, or the ex 205 champ John Jones.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's the whole storyline going into this, is that eventually they're going to meet.
Right.
So your move is bet on Adesanya all the way.
Yeah, except he's a giant favorite, so a bet on him isn't great.
Exactly.
If there is a
I believe
I might
5, right?
What was that?
He's like plus 265, isn't he?
Yeah. He is not the biggest favorite on the card because Amanda Nunes is on the card. Nobody takes any of her opponents seriously anymore. She's like a minus 1,200, Amanda Nunes. Or something like
Well,
that.
it's kind of hard looking at this because Megan Anderson, who she's fighting, looks like she works at a gas station.
Yeah,
So
in Australia,
this literally
for sure.
looks like a fight between a gas station clerk and somebody who the gas station clerk is accusing of stealing.
Right. Are you basing that on the confusing face she has tattooed on her arm? She has a lot of like really wacky tattoos. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, Amanda
People
Nunes
have been
just
like,
doesn't seem like somebody to fuck with.
no. Well, I mean, she is kind of the consensus greatest female mixed martial artist of all time at this point, and she's defending her 145 belt. She has 2 belts in the UFC, which isn't as common as it is in boxing to have different weight classes. She's got and totally, it has never happened in women's martial arts before her. No one gets even close to her. I think on her last title defense, the first $1 million bet ever in MMA was placed on her. And it was to win like 150 grand or something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say they won like $45.
Yeah, but that's the kind of the level she is now. You know, like with Mike Tyson in the 90s, it's just like how badly is she gonna fuck this chick up?
Right.
How sad is it gonna be? How quickly am I gonna wish that they would throw in the towel? The only difference between this and all of her other fights, though, is that I don't think she's defended the 145 title once, and pretty much the only reason 145 exists in the UFC is because of they wanted to sign Chris Cyborg, who now isn't in the UFC anymore. No, there's maybe like 4 or 5 women in that division. It's a joke. Like there's nobody in that division. So it's just a way to continue the legend of Amanda Nunes and make her a 2-weight champ. And her opponent, Megan Anderson, is pretty much the only legit 145er in the UFC. Everybody else is like a 135er who's not cutting weight, right?
Right.
Yeah,
she's
it
6
says
feet
right here.
tall.
Yeah, I would say Megan Anderson is 6 feet tall. She's a big old gal.
Yeah. Which leads me to the other awesome story about this card is that Casey Kinney fighting on the prelims. What?
Keep going. I just got to fix my camera.
Okay. Casey Kinney, who's fighting on the prelims, was on a podcast. He's a bantamweight, and Megan Anderson is a 145-pound featherweight. And so he was asked if he would fuck her or something like that. And he said, like, I don't know. He said something like she's like a 4 a.m.er after a few beers or something like that.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. The funny thing is they're on the same card. She is on the headline and he is on the undercard. He's 5'6". She's 6 feet tall. I think she could whoop his ass. At least it's going to be.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of a question I was going to throw to you guys is I've thought about this quite often, and I don't think I would want to date a chick who does MMA style stuff just because I couldn't imagine being in an argument and getting head kicked through my oven, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, especially this woman who's the berserker. I mean, she's knocking people out.
Right. I mean,
Yikes,
I'd be down. I would feel safe. I'd feel protected.
Yeah.
I'm
used to being low status in my relationships. So
Yeah, maybe it's because the only thing I have left is physical prowess over my girlfriend.
Yeah, but everybody falls asleep sometime. You know what I mean?
Damn, dude.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
you got a great
yeah,
point. Yeah, I just
that sounds pretty in line with the women that you've dated, Bryan.
everybody falls asleep sometime.
You're used to getting stabbed awake.
Yeah, I just can't imagine banging a chick and she starts choking you. That's just
like with proper technique.
Yeah, and so like she's really cutting off the wind. Where when chicks want you to do it, it's more of a surface act. But this chick will
safer
put you in a
than a
triangle. Yeah.
Safer than a bet.
Yeah, it's safe.
Yeah.
At least she knows when to let go.
What if it's a championship belt? That won't even slide all the way around your neck. Those things are heavy.
That'd be funny if you caught a UFC guy jerking off with his own championship belt around his neck.
No doubt it's happened. I have absolutely no doubt that that's happened.
You got to get high somehow.
Yeah.
Gotta get high
Tim Sylvia,
somehow,
the old heavyweight champ, used to go everywhere with his belt. Famously, he would go to clubs wearing it and would have it all the time. There's no way that guy didn't jack off with his belt.
How many defenses did he make of that belt?
How many what?
defenses?
Like I don't like one.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's one defense stop. That's like a guy who feels like he didn't really deserve it. That's very
No, he didn't.
insecure to walk
Well,
around with the belt like that.
Yeah, the heavyweight belt in the UFC has always kind of been silly because it's. I think the record defenses is the current champ Stipe, and it's 3.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, dude, I would be like Buster Douglas style, dude. I'd be so insecure. I'd be going around with the belt everywhere, being like, yeah, everybody knows this is going away next fight.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get are there any other fight, like what's a fight that not a lot of people are talking about?
Well, there's one more title fight we haven't talked about, if you don't mind, because there's 3 of them.
Yeah.
So before we go on, we'll talk about that one. It's not Jan Blachowicz, Peter Yan. Yeah, another Jan. Peter, it's actually Piotr, but I'm not going to do that to y'all.
Man, whatever happened to names like Chris?
Right?
Aljamain Sterling. It's Aljamain Sterling. I'm looking at the main card as his opponent. Does he wear that flat top in the ring? His headshot. He's got a kid in play flat top in his headshot.
It might be a little higher in that picture than it is usually.
And second question, where do they count his height at? The top of the flat top or the top of the forehead?
Yeah, it's definitely the top of the flat top.
Yeah, dude, he could be like prison style, like have a wrench in the cake type thing going on.
Yeah. Or he grows that bigger and he's like the tallest UFC fighter ever. He's like Gerald from Hey Arnold in the ring.
Right. But he's like 5'6".
Yeah. But his hair goes up to here, so he's fucking.
So this is the 135 pound championship. Peter Yan only has 1 defense, or no, this is his first defense. So, you know, I have Sterling in this one. He's a slight underdog. I think like a little above even money, like 115. But that was going to be one of my bets that I would suggest if you want to make that one more fun. It's over even money, which I think is a good bet, especially since I really don't think Peter Yan has proven himself yet. He won the title. It was a vacant title, and he won it over Jose Aldo, who it was Jose Aldo's a legend at 145, but it was Jose Aldo's, I think, second fight at 135.
And he's
so
like
I don't
shell
really
of himself, right? After that Connor loss, didn't he just start losing all the time?
Actually, no. I think he might have lost once since then, but he's on a tear right now. He's actually looking really good.
Oh, okay.
Is Aljamain Sterling? He's a submission guy based on the stats that I'm reading right here.
Yeah, especially early on in his career. Lately, he really likes to throw hands, and he's got really good stand-up. But in this fight particularly, he's going to be looking to take it to the ground and choke him out. He's even said so in interviews.
And
that could be a ruse. He could be like, I'm going to choke the shit out of him, and then he's going to kick him just all over the ring.
Could be. He's got knockouts.
I'm a huge fan of people who tell you exactly what they're going to do and then actually do that. Like if you watch a pre-fight interview with Tyson Fury before Fury Wilder 2, he tells you everything that's going to happen, and then you watch the fight, and it is round for round exactly what's going to happen. He TKO'd him 1 round later than he said. But other than that, everything he said he was going to do, he did. Damn.
Well, that's where Conor McGregor's kind of legend came from. In the early stages of his like initial rise, he was calling every shot.
Yeah, I've seen the side-by-side video of McGregor practicing how he was going to take out Aldo, and it goes beat for beat how he beats Aldo.
Exact thing.
Yeah, that's
but yeah,
that's like those
because Aldo
side by. Have you ever seen those side-by-side Kobe MJ videos? They're psychotic. Kobe, like, it is exactly move for move doing what MJ's doing. It's eerie, dude.
So Kobe's doing like the moonwalk, and then he's doing like the hee. Michael Jackson, I twisted it. Hey.
So you got Sterling on a submission, huh?
I wouldn't necessarily call the method of victory or tell anybody else to bet on the method of victory, but I have him to win for sure. It could definitely go decision. He's got crazy cardio. Peter Yan, I think, if there's any knock on him, is that he might not be as explosive in the later rounds as he is in the early rounds. He's got really good boxing and really good combos, but that kind of starts to slow down in like the 4th and 5th round.
Is Peter Russian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he of the like Dagestan area? Is he that world?
No, I don't believe so. I'm not sure, but I think he's just Russian. Not one of the special mountain types.
Yeah. Not the like the Nacho Libre climbing and eating bald eagle egg.
Yeah. Not the kind that's like, where Americans go, I have multiple reasons to be scared of you. It's just the one
Right.
reason.
Yeah. Okay.
He's not Muslim.
No. Okay. Is Islam? Is Islam Makhachev?
Islam Makhachev. Yeah. He's so yeah. No, he's from Jersey.
He's a good Italian boy.
Yeah. Aljamain is from Jersey, so look for a lot of awesomeness to be coming out of his corner. Like the corner advice. Yeah.
Oh, he's got a Jersey training staff too. Oh, that's my favorite.
Oh, big time, all the way. Matt Serra is one of the most entertaining dudes to listen corner somebody.
Okay, well, dude, I love corner guys. I've been watching a lot of is it Joel Diaz or Jojo Diaz? He's a boxing trainer guy, and he is so fucking funny. So what's the of the undercard, the non-title fights? What's the one to watch? Thiago Santos is famous. I've heard of him.
He's you've heard of him because he went 5 rounds with John Jones.
Right.
He's good. I actually have him winning this, but I'm not confident in it against Alexander Ratchik, who's a high-level kickboxer, but only has maybe like 15 MMA fights. He's 13-2.
Oh wow.
Yeah, in MMA.
Yeah.
But he's great. I think that one, it could go either way, but I got Santos. He's a little more proven and has that equalizer. I mean, he can knock anybody out. So I got him in that one.
Maybe I've watched a comp of his knockouts. He can box.
Yeah. He's mostly a knockout artist, and I wouldn't necessarily say he can box. The level of striking in MMA is still to a point where a brawler can do well. And he's like a high level Muay Thai brawler. So he's got a good understanding of like positioning and stuff like that, but you're not going to see a lot of head movement. You're not going to see a lot of footwork.
Right. Yeah.
He's just a lot of hard kicks.
I remember in the Mayweather McGregor fight, I was like, why does McGregor hold his hands like he's riding bucket bars on a motorcycle? Like he had his hands. I was like, what?
He was kind of doing the Muay Thai thing. Yeah. It's not a good idea in a boxing match.
I mean, honestly, there's only 3 people on earth it's a good idea to box Mayweather.
Right.
Everybody. Bad idea.
Actually, it's a good idea for everybody because there's like $30 million on the other end of it.
Yeah, and he won't hurt you that much anymore.
No.
No. You just won't hurt him. Yeah.
I feel like he hurt Connor, but
yeah, probably. But Connor's a shadow of himself. Okay, so what are my 3 bets? I'm gonna place these bets, not like live on the air because that's boring.
Right.
So you won. Go straight on the line, over, under, win, loss. Just the win.
Okay.
Loss.
And if you have a prop bet, I'll do a prop bet. I love a prop bet.
We love prop bets, but they're not open yet.
Oh, I see.
I would say as far as the main card goes, I would definitely put a little bit of money on Santos.
Okay.
Santos to win. Thiago Santos. And then on the undercards, there were a few that I like.
I like that you're going with the undercards because I don't want to bet on Nunez or Israel because those are boring bets. Because if I win, I win too.
No, usually what I'll do is I'll put like a little parlay on the undercard, and if I win that, then I'll play with house money for the rest of the event.
Yeah, I was looking at the Canelo fight, which we're going to get into in this podcast later. And I was like, dude, if I bet my life savings, I would make more money just sitting on interest from my bank than I would betting on Canelo.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing with a lot of with the Amanda Nunes fight. There's no sense in betting on that. I'd say Kyler Phillips versus Sang Yadong. We're not gonna talk about Yadong. We're just gonna move along. Kyler Phillips
Right.
over
So wait,
Sang Yadong.
okay, Kyler. Take Kyler.
Yeah, he's plus 115. But yeah, I'd take over even money on him. He's wrestling heavy, which Sang Yadong is kind of a wrestler as well. But he's got more finishes on the ground. I think you could probably, and Sang Yadong has been drowned for 3 rounds before, just getting smothered by a strong wrestler. So I see that being a likely outcome.
Now give me an upset, a big upset.
I mean, if you're going for somebody who, a big underdog to put some money on, Drew Dober is not a bad choice against Islam Makhachev. What was that?
He's on the main card. Yeah.
So Islam Makhachev is like the second coming of Khabib.
Right.
He's on Khabib's team. Everybody's pushing him to be the next guy. He very likely could win this one, but Drew Dober is not a pushover, and probably one of the bigger steps up that Islam Makhachev has had. So that'll be.
Dude, Drew Dober looks like he can take a fucking punch, man.
Yeah, he can. And he's also pretty good on the ground. Islam Makhachev is just like Khabib, like smothers people, takes them into hot water. And Drew Dober has got good cardio and pretty good wrestling. So I don't really see him being able to do that.
All right. I will take Drew Dober over the Dagestan Warrior.
What do you think about betting on Aljamain Sterling to submit Peter Yan?
I'd say that's a good bet. That's probably one that I would make on that one as well. I was looking at some of the prelim fights. I would say if you're looking for a good parlay, it'd be Aljamain Sterling, and then add in Askar Askarov over Joseph Benavidez. He's a minus 35 favorite or minus 135 favorite. So that'll make the parlay probably a pretty good one. I haven't looked at it yet.
Yeah, and you use well, I don't want to plug any betting people. So start paying us. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if my girlfriend's listening, I don't even use any of those sites. So
I hate gambling.
Yeah.
But it's cool, man. I mean, we have 0 female listeners out of 100,000.
Oh, cool.
Analytics, every
Perfect.
podcast I've ever done on YouTube, the analytics say that my demographic is 100% male, 100% 24 to 35. But I'm like, I know at least a couple women who listen on YouTube. So
Sure.
I do. My girlfriend, she's in Jamaica. She's having her tits reduced.
Cool. You guys do different school?
Yeah, you wouldn't know her.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
You'd
So
recognize.
I just put in that parlay on Bovada, and if you parlay Aljamain Sterling and Askar Askarov to win, it's plus 235. So that's about the best you can do.
Dude, I'm doing it. I'm putting down the big bucks on this one, and we'll tune back in
Hell
next
yeah.
week to see how Anthony and I's friendship survives. All right, cool. Well, thank you so much for calling in, man.
Yeah, thanks, Anthony.
Yeah, man,
Appreciate it,
no
dude.
problem.
And
All right, y'all. Pleasure.
so the Canelo fight happened against Avni Yildirim. Remember, I said bet the house and you'll win $5. He's gonna I said he was gonna rearrange this dude's face, and
he did.
That's exactly what happened. He surrendered from the bench, from the stool after the 3rd round. Well, his training staff did. He did. And he had a
would you be pissed at your training staff?
He was knocked silly. So what happened was, it's pretty interesting. You watch the fight. Canelo is annihilating this guy. Canelo takes you right out of your game. Like there's nobody like him right now. And so he's down on the stool, end of the 3rd round. His trainer, I think it's Joel Diaz. I forget his name, but he's yelling at him. He's like, "Hey, Avni, I'm giving you one more round to show me something, or I'm throwing in the towel." And Avni's just staring at him straight through him, blank. And he's like, "Hey, talk to me. I'm giving you one more round. You got to show me something. Talk to me." And he just isn't responding. And he goes, "All right, fuck it." And he just threw the towel in. Fight over. 3 rounds. 15,000 people in attendance. It was the biggest fight attendance wise. It was in Orlando or Miami. It was in Florida somewhere.
Somewhere with freedom.
Yeah. So Canelo immediately after the fight announced that he's finally going to fight Billie Joe Saunders. Billie Joe Saunders is a fighter from England, and he's been trolling Canelo for 6 years looking for this fight. Billie Joe Saunders is the super middleweight WBO champion. Canelo desperately wants to unify 168, the super middleweight belts. He's got 3 of them, and he needs to get Billie Joe's 4th to unify. And Billie Joe he's from the Irish traveler community, the Gypsies. He's cousins with Tyson Fury. He comes from bare knuckle ilk. His grandfather, I believe it was his grandfather, his great grandfather's name was Absalom Beanie. They called him Pickles.
Jesus.
And he was the bare knuckle champion. And he used to go from circus to circus fighting bare knuckle, like at carnivals and shit. And he was
born with CTE.
Dude, that guy Pickles, he made it to 98 years old, almost 99. He died right before
Jesus Christ.
They said even at age 98 he would still go down to the pub and drink beers and talk shit to the very end. And I mean, I bet most people's familiarity with this bare knuckle like traveler type shit is Snatch, you know, that movie Snatch. Yeah, that's all about the gypsy fighters. But I wanted to give you a little background because this fight's going to be pretty good. I've been watching a lot of Billie Joe Saunders fights. I've obviously seen a ton of Canelo. I'm going to wait till closer to Cinco. The fight's on Cinco de Mayo. So in
beautiful.
It's going to be all Canelo fans. But I wanted to get into a little bit of like the background of Billie Joe Saunders to kind of get you excited about this fight and hype it up. But the first thing I want to play you is a video of some gypsy bare knuckle boxers, and all you need is the audio because I want you to tell me if you can understand a single word that this man says. So basically they don't do rounds in bare knuckle fights. They just do 40 minutes, you know, until somebody quits. It's just straight fighting until somebody quits, right? This fight went for 40 minutes. This guy wins. I'm going to start it right here, and I want you to tell me if you understand the word.
Come on, man. Don't Joe, boys. Joe. I've no mountain about nobody. No, listen. No mountain. Listen, I'm a type to talk to, lad. Talk. Listen, boys. I'm not getting no one. I'm not getting you apart from the start. Right, this is the 3rd Irish name, and I bet, yeah. Listen, my name is Michael. I can go for a pint with him this minute. We're good old mates. Me and Ditsy Stanley are out for life. I hope we're the same that we can drink again. I'll leave it at that. That's a good fight.
So right there at the pause, what I heard at the what I heard at the beginning is nobody is going to be mounting anybody.
I think I got it. This is the 4th time I listened to it. I think he said that him and the guy he fought, Patrick, are old mates, and they could go down to the pub and have a pint
and drink again.
And hope we could drink again. Yeah, I got it.
Yes.
Wow, holy shit.
I got the beginning and the end. We after basically, which is very Irish to be like, after this we can all go drink again.
Yeah, so that is bare knuckle gypsy fighters. That's on YouTube. They had to go to a secret location to do it. It's unsanctioned, unlicensed, and completely illegal. But that fight was for $60K.
And that was Saunders?
No, that's just his community that he comes from. I just wanted to get you familiar with like the reason why, like whenever you see Tyson Fury or Billie Joe Saunders be like, this is in my blood. I've been doing this since before I was born. They're not lying. Like it's just a generation of fighters. There's documentaries from the BBC on like 5-year-old gypsy boys training in gyms and they can already fucking throw a hook. It's insane.
You see that video of that little kid throwing that left jab?
Yes. Well, speaking of little kids and how this fighting runs in the bloodline, well, this is a video, so I don't know if you can see this. I don't have screen sharing capabilities. But essentially, I'll put it in post right here, is Billie Joe Saunders is at a weigh-in fighting Willie Monroe Jr., and Billie had been particularly rough with the shit talking with this guy, and they're doing their weigh-in, they're flexing, and Billie Joe's son runs up and punches the other guy his dad's fighting in the nuts and then kicks his shin.
Sorry, I did it before you played it.
Well, what I want to, that's fine. You don't need to, I don't need to play that. What I want to show you is after Billie Joe whooped up on Willie Monroe, he made his son apologize to him in the ring after the fight. So here we go.
Challenge Golovkin, he come up short. He challenged me, come up short. First of all, thank you to Willie Monroe Jr. for coming over and giving me a good sturdy test. And my young boy Steve got something to say to Willie.
Sorry, punching in nuts.
There you go.
It's funny because whenever you told me about the video before, I just pulled it up on my end right here. That's not a little kid, you know?
Yeah, he's like 8.
He's like,
9.
yeah, but he's too old to be punching the guy in the nuts. You know what I'm saying?
Well, imagine that Billy had some brother or some uncle of that little kid who's like, hey, he's 50 quid. Go kick him in the nuts.
Yeah, and it's funny that Billie Joe Saunders doesn't do any parenting in the moment.
He keeps flexing.
Yeah.
All right. So in this video, so what you need to know is that the term pikey is like the N-word for his culture, for like gypsies.
Yeah.
And which is strange.
I thought gypsy is the
Yeah, gypsy's bad enough, but I think pikey's worse. And so according to, Billie Joe Saunders, it's worse. And so it's just strange because you and I have done stand-up at a bar called the Pikey on Sunset times. So it's kind of I wonder, it just makes you wonder if there's a bar in Ireland that's called something else. Here, so a guy on Instagram commented on Billie Joe Saunders' Instagram about him talking about Martin Murray, who's a big time boxer in England, but Billie Joe ended up beating Martin Murray. But he was saying that you couldn't beat Martin Murray, and he called him a pikey pussy. And so somehow Billie Joe Saunders got this guy's home phone number. And so it shows a clip here. It says, but you couldn't fight Murray, you pikey pussy. And then Billie Joe Saunders comments back at him and says, okay, well then watch the next video. And we pick up with Billie Joe Saunders calling the man and filming it.
Hello?
Oh, you fucking little prick. Who's paid you commenting about pikey?
What?
Who's paid you commenting about pikey? You little fucking prick. Who you comment on? I've been on the phone to Dicko and someone's come around now to smash your fucking head in. Do you know that?
Yeah?
Yes, right now, yes.
All right,
Nice one, yeah? Who the fuck do you think you are?
So he hung up. By the way, he's showing this guy's home phone number on his video so everybody can see it. Calls him right back. Excuse me, he rings him right back. Billy rules, dude.
Hello?
Do you think you're clever, yeah?
Billy, man, it wasn't nothing like that, no.
It was something like that. Yes, it was something like that. Yes, it's pikey. Who are you talking to? You fucking knacker. Who are you talking to?
Well, I didn't mean it like that, Billy.
You did mean it like that. Yes, you did. You fucking sent a video to me now and you apologise for what you said I was today. Someone's come around to break your arms and legs. Do you understand that? You will send it to me on video on this phone, the number I called. You send it back to me now.
So this is a private number?
A private number, is it? No problem. No problem. No problem. I'll ring you straight back now with a proper number.
and then where the fuck did this go? The guy actually makes the video. He actually let me find it real quick. I'm sorry. Here it is. This is the man apologizing to Billie Joe Saunders. Listen to how wussy he sounds now.
My name is David McGardle. I'm sorry for calling Billie Joe Saunders the P, a pussy P word, and I deserve a slap in the mouth off him for saying that, and I'm very sorry for that, and I'm the keyboard fucking warrior, so I apologise.
And then Billie Joe wrote,
so fucking funny,
he wrote,
dude.
good boy, be careful what you call people.
Good boy with the thumbs up.
So
holy
Billie
shit.
Joe has so much media. He has a habit of driving like a $200,000 car into a low income neighborhood and pranking street people quite a bit. He made a crackhead lady punch a stranger in the street on the idea. He's like, I got 150 grams of crack. I'll give it to you if you punch that pedophile. He said, because it's just another stranger walking down the street. And she goes, sorry. And then she punches the guy. and then he just drives off. He stopped a stranger on the street and said that he recognized him from a gay website. And then that turned into a 30-minute live stream on Instagram where he like marriage counseled the guy and his wife, and he asked him how much they had sex and what was he doing on a gay website. The guy's like, oh, I swear I'm not gay. And it's just
And does that guy recognize Billie Joe Saunders?
no idea. He does right. Billie's just riding around in fucking Ferraris, fucking with poor people. Billie got his license suspended, his boxing license suspended last year because he made a joke video, and this is what I'll close it on. I just wanna, but it's just a different sense of humor. You know what I mean? Like, if this were the 90s, he would.
It's British comedy. It's a little bit more dry and deadpan.
No, this is more like Andrew Dice Clay. So we'll play this and we'll end this. He obviously was kidding, folks. He got his license suspended for this.
Just finished training. Couple of layers of clothes on. It's a bit cold here in the barn.
He's at a heavy bag
video
in a barn.
You dads, husbands, if you got girlfriends, etc. Obviously, this COVID-19 is getting very serious, and we're isolated away in, very tight spaces. So, right, if your old woman's giving you a little bit of mouth, and you try to be patient, you try to be calm, cool, but after the 7th day or 6th day, shall I say, you're just about to explode. All of a sudden, she's coming at you now, spitting a bit of venom in your face, ready to say something. You may have left the dishes out. You may have, I don't know what you've done, but you've upset her. So as she comes in, she's coming at you. You've lost it. Just keep it safe with the hands. So as she comes in, she's just about to say something. All of a sudden, you explode. Bam! On the chin.
Oh, my God.
She may flash and see white feet and watch it happen. Has he done it? I can't believe this. Whoa, what's happened? She don't know what's happened. She's in a state of horror at the minute. She don't know what's gone on. That flash has come. And all of a sudden, you just dip down on that knee, whip, and spring up. So you finish her off. Oh my God. Bam. That should do the trick.
So he got his boxing license suspended for that video. And he has not. Yeah, he has not reeled it in at all. So when Canelo and when the fight was announced, he answered the DAZN or one of the boxing media companies FaceTimed him to get his reaction to the fact that the Canelo fight, which he's been looking forward to for 6 years, is finally happening. He answered the FaceTime call in a like a kitchen apron that had a man's body on it with a giant cock hanging off of it like a furry cock, and he's like, well, everything's good, everything's up, and he's just holding this big cock. It's like, dude, he's fucking, he's an edgy dude. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
But I still
dude, British people and I mean Irish people, whoever from like lower class are so funny.
They're the funniest people in the world. Yeah.
But where like the people from British comedy who like your Jimmy Carrs of the world, who are like debutante style, whatever, like
right. Yeah.
dandies.
They read like the Canterbury Tales in between shows and shit.
Yeah. That is
anyway,
so fucking funny.
So that's Canelo Alvarez's next opponent. He's one of my favorite personalities in boxing. I mean, love him or hate him, he's a hilarious troll.
Yeah, I'm excited. I like Canelo, but I might have to be rooting for Billie Joe Saunders in this next one.
I'm gonna hold out, but I really breaking it down. But I feel in my gut that there's no way on earth Canelo loses his fight. But we'll talk about that more towards Cinco de Mayo.
It's exciting. Well, sweet, man. Fuck, Billie Joe Saunders is funny.
There's so much more that I haven't shown you, but I just wanted to introduce people to him.
Yeah, I feel like there's so much so many good personalities in UFC and in
boxing,
like boxing, more combat sports, that people are allowed to be themselves a little bit more.
Well,
Because
not only that,
they're not withholding to a team.
Exactly. Like, if you love the Green Bay Packers, then you're rooting for laundry. But with a boxer, like, you've got to sell your personality. You know what I mean? And the Green Bay Packers are going to sell tickets whether or not Kenny Clark is funny on social media. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. But I mean, it's basically, if I wish Trevor Bauer would come out and be like, Bush did 9/11 rather than write it on the mound. And dude,
Also,
I
it's
won't
like,
go too deep into it, but
how uptight can you be about a guy who gets his brains beaten in for a living? You know what I mean? You're like, wait,
yeah.
he's not, he's not gender binary. The guy who.
Well, I say that all the time. I mean, me and you have talked about it a million times. Where it's like you can't expect people who freaking get hit over the head every day for a living to be good people. Maybe we lock them away from society and don't allow them to be on social media. But man,
oh no, that's too much joy we're missing out on.
Oh, see, I'm in the same boat. I just am tired of people being like, I can't believe that this person is not an upstanding citizen.
Yeah,
pure insanity. But yeah, let's wrap it up, dude. Good show, good stuff. Coming back next week, hotter than ever. MLB's in spring training. It's fucking time, dude. Games are starting. Games are already back, dude.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked. Well,
Trevor Bauer on the mound today for the Dodgers, looking fucking lights out.
Also, check back next week to see if Anthony made me a millionaire on these MMA fights, because I'm going to bet like,
hell yeah, dude.
We're talking $20, $30 bets I'm putting down here, so I could be getting pretty fucking rich.
Yeah, dude. Shit, I'll throw some down. Why not? All right. Thank you guys so much. We love you.